has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, a broken eat a bad apple with a bad attitude, hanging around a bunch of bad, under bad tape, bad law, bad do, bad bread, bad attitude, bad vibes. We are live in the Magic City Studios in the Ferrall place, right across the river and through the woods from where Granny loves her hybrid forbidden fruit in New York City. The Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags, directed traffic, some kind of fashion shaker. But I'm up in the come around from the flutter party of rats on the west side, bed bugs uptown. What a mess. The towns of tattered, my brain splattered all over Manhattan. Should do be shake-a-doo. Oh, woo, woo. I think I might have caught something from Keith. Yeah, it's only rock and roll, but I like it. Yes, I do, but I like it. Hey, what's gigging? I'm Ferrall, along with your boy Carver High this afternoon. Mafia running it in Ferralladale, along with Hayden Fry at LTN in Kansas City Mo. A misery Monday for the birthday roll call today. LaMelo Ball checking in, 21. Go have a drink, kid. Max Crosby, 25. Randall Cobb, 32. Adam Thielen, 32. Jeff Weaver, remember him, 46. Darren Jackson, 59. Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer, 66. Wes Chandler, 66. Bill Parcells, legend, Hall of Famer, 81. Carl Yastrzemski, 83. There you go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. The Ravens beat Zona by the time I get to racially profiled Arizona. Ravens 22nd straight preseason win. They beat them by a touchdown. Giants beat the Bengals 25-22. The big story. Thibodeau leaves the game with an knee injury. Looks like 3 or 4 weeks. He's going to be out. We'll hear from Brian Dable. Eagles beat the Browns 21-20. That was Sunday. Saturday, the Titans beat the Bucs 13-3. Tom Brady is back at camp. Dana White talking about trying to get Brady and Gronk to go to Vegas before John Gruden nixed the deal. We got that for you. Bills rolled the Broncos 42-15. I thought the Broncos were going to the Super Bowl this year. Josh Allen lighting it up. It didn't take long. Lions beat the Colts 27-26. Chiefs beat Washington by 10. Mahomes looked great. We got the Lions share today. Plus, Jason Scott, the VP of Trading at BetMGM, will join us per usual on a Misery Monday. Looking forward to that. The Steelers beat the Jags 16-15. Mason Rudolph threw the game winner for the Steelers late to beat the Jags and Jacks. Kenny Pickett talking about the time he had out there. George Pickens making a move in the offensive rookie of the year odds. Joey Porter's wife says that whole Mike Tomlin breaking up a street fight with kids and then inviting them to camp is all a lie. Didn't happen. Not true. Cowboys beat the Chargers 32-18. We've got a punt return for a touchdown for you from that game. Much hype. SoFi Stadium video board goes black during the game on Saturday night. They had no video board at all. Fans were booing. Raiders beat the Dolphins 15-13. Derek Carr has the most wins as an underdog since 2014. The Raiders getting 3.5 in week 1 against the Chargers. And the Raiders trade Nick Mullins to the Vikings today. Baker Mayfield named the starter for week 1 against the Browns. Pats beat the Panthers 20-10. Matt Corral leaves with a Liz Frank injury. Done for the year, it looks like. Wow. Remember he had that ankle injury at Ole Miss. Now the broken foot. Not a good start for Corral. Bailey Zappi looks sharp for the Pats. And Taekwondo Thompson left the game for the Pats with a collarbone injury. He's going to miss 8 weeks. Panthers take Shaq Thompson off the pup list. Packers beat the Saints 20-10. Michael Thomas, a hamstring. When is Michael Thomas ever healthy? I mean, what's it been? Years? 2-3 years? I mean, this guy, he's like toast as far as I'm concerned. We welcome all the radio affiliates, Sirius XM, our satellite partners, channel 159 is our home base there. Sports Map Radio Network, good to have you with us. Sports Byline USA, Ron Barr, deep back holding it down in the city by the bay. Good to have you as well. And, of course, Mightier 1090, ESPN Radio in San Diego and all of Southern California. Should do better. So Quincy Williams and the Jets find like 10 grammars late hit against the Eagles last week. Rams rookie O-lineman Logan Bruss out for the season with a torn ACL, MCL. Soldier Field's going to get new grass. Trey Lance rookie card goes for $132,000. We got all your NFL Pain Day Skinny News, plus Adam Kaplan today. The Yankees beat the Jays on Sunday to avoid the 4-game sweep. They won 4-2, but they've lost 15-20. Benintendi came up big. Alek Manoah going at it with Garrett Cole. Are they going to have a fist fight? That would be nice. Aaron Boone gets all fired up Saturday, slamming tables and getting all kinds of cranky in the presser. Dodgers beat the Marlins 10-3. Bellinger with a home run. Cards beat the D-backs 6-4 to sweep that series. Pujols, 2 home runs on Saturday. He's at 692 now, 8 shy of 700. He will retire no matter what, short of it or on top of it, the 700. Mets beat the Phillies 10-9. What a wild game at Citizens yesterday. After being down in the 8th inning, they take 3 of 4 games from the Phillies. Canna comes up huge in the 9th for the Mets. We'll play it for you. Padres beat the Nats to avoid a sweep. Josh Bell came up big with a big home run. And Tatis Jr.'s teammates absolutely livid with him. Allegedly, he talked to him, and Hader has been benched as the closer. They're not using him. They're using a closer by committee thing now. Bob Nightingale will join us from the USA Today to talk about it today. We got Today in Carver High history, all the baseball from the weekend. In fact, we got big hits. We got Ohtani leaving a game with a stomach bug. That's called diarrhea where I come from. And we've got Evan Longoria with a grand slam. When's the last time he did that? We got all your standings in every division, tonight's games. How about the Subway Series if they can get it in with the rain in New York City today? Mets and Bombers tonight. Scherzer going for the Mets. Go with us on Monday. It's Coast to Coast, baby.
Your heart's racing. The clock's running out. It all comes down to this. We're talking pregame. Pregame. Get locked in with Game Time Decisions. Your hosts, Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, will get you ready for game time. Everything you need to know before a game goes off the board, with the bet slips to back it up. Make your best bet with live odds updates, late breaking news, up-to-the-minute injury reports, and real-time analytics from inside the sportsbooks. All the odds, all the action, from sports wagering insiders and industry pros like Donnie Rightside, Gam Lou, Cousin Sal, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and more. Get the winning edge every weekday afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 4 Pacific. It's Game Time Decisions. Only on Sports Grid. Fantasy Sports Today.
Take a look at those numbers. Do you think that he's being drafted about where he should, which is not being drafted at all?
I don't think he's your quarterback of the future. I think you are going to have to upgrade eventually. I understand the problem that Detroit's in. If you don't have a top 3, top 4 pick, it's hard to get that quarterback unless you're willing to give up all those picks. Do I think he's average? I think that's what you're shooting for. And I think he can be average, which might be good enough for this team for the immediate future here.
The Sports Grid Network. The early line.
The St. Louis Cardinals and then the Milwaukee Brewers moving in opposite directions. If we're just looking for lineup prowess here, 1 through 9, by far, it's the St. Louis Cardinals. My thought process isn't going to change, even if the two schedules, flip back and forth, and we might be looking at a dead heat once we're around September 15th. I still trust the Cardinals more than I do the Brewers, because if I need base hits, I can get them with the Cardinals.
Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall, Coast to Coast.
Pickett was the only quarterback selected in the first round for a reason. Super accurate, good athlete, playing that same stadium in Pittsburgh. This is a good situation for him. I like the way Mike Tomlin is handling this. He's not naming anybody starting quarterback. Does Trubisky have the upper hand? Yes, that's a fact. But he's going to let Pickett get more reps here. Your guy Pickett, with your team, the Steelers, this is their future quarterback.
The Sports Grid Network.
If you want to pick like a pro, you need to be in the know. The future of sports gaming is now, and we take you inside the lines, breaking down all the action and what it means for your bet slip. Turn down the game and tune into Sports Grid Radio. Other networks talk sports talk, but we walk the walk, right up to the window. Sports Grid Radio.
Listen free on the Sports Grid Radio app, iHeart, or TuneIn, or catch us on Sirius XM Sports Grid Channel 159.
Hey, my man, Remember how intense I was when I was in the league?
Sure.
But now, I'm retired. Got everything on chill mode.
Chill mode, Mr. Garnett.
Boom! That's what I'm talking about. Big ticket hitting big parlays. Whose house is it?
Big Ticket's
Whose
house.
house is
Big
it?
Ticket's house.
Big Ticket's house.
Woo!
Big Ticket's house.
It's my house.
What?
I got to tell you, the BetMGM app, a lot of people get up, they have breakfast, they go about their day, they, run errands, they work, they're very busy. I only do one thing, and that's go on the BetMGM app. I don't eat, I don't drink, I don't even go to the bathroom. The first thing I do, like some people have to have coffee in the morning. The first thing I do is BetMGM app. It's pretty much like, the last thing I do before I go to bed and the first thing I do when I get up. I'm on that app. It's like crack. I mean, it is the greatest thing ever. Do you know that if you bet $10 on any MLB game, you win $200 if either team hits a home run? Is that crazy? That is crazy stuff, kids. Use the bonus code MLBHR 2022. That's MLBHR 2022. And bet $10 on a game, $200 is yours. Clams, flambitos, chunks of change. 200 of those going your way if you bet $10 on a game. It's a beautiful thing. I love BetMGM and their app. It's just a concept that I follow religiously. Carver High, what is the weather update for the Subway Series tonight? A lot of rain today finally in New York City after 2 months of drought and absolutely no water. The rivers are receding. There's bodies floating. I mean, now we got a ton of rain today. Are they going to get the game in?
I'm not sure. I mean, I barely got a drop out on Long Island, believe it or not, Sky. Like, it barely rained out there. Maybe a little drizzle in the morning. Look, they're saying that there's a window. You love when they say that. There's a window for them to play tonight, that the heavy stuff is going to be gone. May have a delay at some point in case a scattered shower rolls through, but nothing they feel, as of now, that's going to impact them from playing that Subway Series game tonight up in the Bronx. Of course, with the Mets coming in high after beating up on the Phillies, and the Yankees salvaging the fourth game of that series against the Blue Jays this weekend, Scotty. So we will discuss all of that later on. Yes.
I'm literally seeing now that from 7 until 11, there's absolutely no rain, and that the sun will be out from 7 to 8:30 at sunset, and then just cloudy, no rain the whole night for the game. It looks like they'll get it in. My buddies are sitting behind home plate directly, like 5 rows back, and they were like crying that they were going to miss it and thinking that they were going to go to 2 tomorrow.
Well, yeah, it looks like you said, as of now, things are good to go. Max Scherzer tonight and Domingo Germán up at the stadium. We will discuss all of that later on here on Coast to Coast. We will start, Scotty, with NFL preseason week 2, almost completely in the books. We do have a game tonight between the Jets and the Falcons. I'm sure you'll be flipping over to that during commercials of the Yankee-Met game. You'll be very involved. Nobody's playing. Not even Flacco tonight for you, Scott. You don't even get Joe Flacco in the Jet game. So, nobody will be playing.
So what is it, just White playing?
I guess so. I guess Mike White's going to be the guy tonight.
Yeah, glad I bet on the
Jets against the Falcons. Let's start with the Ravens because, Scotty, about 22 straight preseason wins for the Baltimore Ravens. Ridiculous. They beat Arizona 24-17. Of course, no Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley played well. Isaiah Likely, rookie for the Ravens, 8 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. They were all excited about him last night after the game.
Yeah, listen, I thought he looked really good. I won't deny it. I know I was watching my buddy Kevin Burkhardt, who won't admit he knows me, and then Olsen was doing a game. They got those 2 white guys in there nice and cushy, don't they? And then let me just say, and I know the game, I know you're going to talk about this other game, the Giants game with Cincinnati, but I have to say, I watch the games just for like a little bit, like here and there. I mean, I have watched high school football games that are better than NFL preseason games. I mean, that Giants game was, even though it was like 25-22 and the end of it was good, it was so boring that literally I've had more fun getting my wisdom teeth out. I mean, honestly, I watched that game and I was like, this is torture. And no offense, because I'm not like trying to slam anybody. I'm just going to say, I guess I am slamming people. That broadcast is so boring. I'd rather listen to my priest talk about 3,000-year-old Jesus stories in sandals with salmon on their back in the middle of the desert than listen to those guys talk football. I mean, it is torture. It's like pulling teeth listening to them do a game. I don't care what you say. And they're in deep with that franchise. You know they love their broadcast group. But I'm here to tell you, you cannot tell me that isn't boring. I mean, they are so boring. Honestly, like if I had a flat tire, I would have more fun changing the tire on the middle of the highway, alone in the desert in the Mojave, than listening to those guys call a football game. I don't care who they know, what they think of me. Go ahead and hate me all you want. You guys suck. You're boring. It's torture listening to you. I'd rather listen to the little kids call the Little League game than you call an NFL game. You're the worst. I don't even know who they are. I know who they are. Banks and Papa and all. It's so boring, for Christ's sake. No one notices that. Honestly, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
For a lot
Do
of
it.
these,
Just say I'm wrong.
Look, I never hear them, obviously, because, and none of us do, because they do the radio during the regular season. And what usually happens in preseason, well, what usually happens in preseason is for all these teams, the radio team goes and calls the TV broadcast because it's just really locally, except the national games like that Raven game last night. So you get Banks and Papa, who do the radio for the Giants all year. You get them in the TV booth on NBC for the preseason games. So that's
when I did, listen, I won't deny that I only did NHL for one season. They couldn't handle me. But we lost every game we played. We went 11-57-8 or something like that. And we lost every game we played. At one point, we hadn't won a game in 2 months. And every night, we lost 5-1, 6-1, 7-2. It was so bad. The team was so bad. But I was never once, not once, was I ever boring. I mean, when we were down 5 goals, I started drinking. And then I started really getting lubed up. And then I was really funny. And I made fun of my color guy because he was such a wuss bag. I just decided, you know what? I'm going to take it out on you, wuss bag, because you're boring. And I'm going to turn you into a comic strip just by myself. And I mean, I did everybody. I did fake fights. I did everything. I got everybody so mad they finally fired me. But I was entertaining. I'll tell you that much. I never called one boring game my whole life. And you can ask anybody in Atlanta. Millions of fans love me. Boring is not my name. But that game last night, honestly, I'd have my eyes gouged out watching them call a game.
Well, 25-22, the Giants did win. Daniel Jones got work, 14 of 16 for $116 and a pick. Kayvon Thibodeau got injured, Scotty, in the game. Took a very questionable block, quite honestly, from one of the guys on the Bengals. Here's Dable. Hopes he's okay.
Kayvon seemed like he was in pretty good spirits leaving. Is there?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he'll get the tests, and we'll have more for you tomorrow.
How big a scare was that for you guys to see him go down like that?
Well, I think it's a scare anytime these players work as hard as they can possibly work to try to do as well as they can. And anytime you see someone on the turf, regardless of how they got here, it's always it's hard as a coach to watch a guy go down.
Where do you stand on guys going low in that situation, kind of cut blocking?
Yeah, well, that's the rules. If they allow it, we do it as well with tight ends and fullbacks going back to the line of scrimmage. So I got to do a good job playing it. It's tough block, but whatever the rules are, those are the rules.
Look, I don't know how much time I got. I'll say this, Mike. That guy better hit the treadmill, because when I was watching him last night cussing out refs and just absolutely going Bob Knight on everybody, he looked like he was going to drop dead. He's so fat and out of shape. That guy looks like he needs to get some weight off. He looked like he was going to have an absolute stroke or heart attack. He's not going to last in the NFL with that fat ass here.
The morning after.
The most important thing about preseason is making sure you get the key numbers of 1 and 2. Very, very important in preseason football. If a team's down 17-10, 50 seconds left in the game, they get a touchdown, you can guarantee the final score is going to be 17-16 or 18-7. They're going for 2. They're just trying to win the game, and it doesn't count anyway. So therefore, the 2 and the 1 becomes real important.
The Sports Grid Network. The early line.
This was a surprise to me. I was anticipating a much harsher ruling on Deshaun Watson. It's hard to view this as not a win for the Deshaun Watson side of things, Donnie. They lost big time on this overall result, Kevin. There is going to be moments where other players in the NFL mess up. The precedent is set here that the NFL, not too serious about stuff like this.
Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall, coast to coast.
How impressive do you think the Phillies are with Thor in that rotation with Wheeler, Nola, and it goes on and on?
I just think Atlanta has a shot not only to beat Philly, but clearly has a chance to beat the Mets. They imposed their will in the first 2 games in the series. The Mets look like they're going to be able to just, ride this down to the end and salt away the division. But it'll be a very interesting dynamic when those 2 teams play against each other.
The Sports Grid Network.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRunner.com, the player's choice.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow into the $1.3 trillion business of sports with your daily numbers game. Well, Bob Chapek and Disney certainly know how to inspire. And remember, their fourth quarter earnings of last year said we're flat, so let's get to a point where gaming is a central focus of ours. A little controversy at Disney relative to Florida, but the bottom line is it doesn't impact the gaming industry as well. And it's rumored to be a bottom-line mega deal with DraftKings or Caesars or others to generate significant dollars. They were also looking at the hub of a wheel to be up to $3 billion in revenue enhancement over time. That may not be the way they cut the deal. They may partner with a large company and take little risk, maybe a little less revenue. However they do it, Chapek said the announcement is coming soon, and Disney, as they usually do, will dominate the space. Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Daily Numbers.
The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
All right, Carver High, time to do it again. Ding, ding, ring the bell. We did it again Friday night. I know that. And that's just with taters. I mean, God only knows what you got me on the player props and the strikeouts.
Yeah, we rang the bell a couple of times on Friday night. I told you we wanted to head into the weekend the right way. Jose Ramirez got us. Paul Goldschmidt got us. Quite a few guys. Nola was over the 6.5 despite getting beat up by the Mets. He got to, I think, 9 strikeouts. So everybody was doing. McKenzie from Cleveland, he had like 14 strikeouts on Friday night. He had a monster game. So we did very well finishing up the week on the Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM. So let's start a new week now, Scotty, here with the strikeouts. And we will go in the Bronx. We mentioned before the Mets and the Yankees tonight. Max Scherzer on the hill for the Mets, Scotty. 7.5 is the number. This was 6.5 this morning. It's gone up one. Plus 120 to the over, minus 165 to the under. Now, he is over this number in 6 of his last 9 starts. But he did face the Yankees on July 27th. He was under, had 6 strikeouts in that start.
Yeah, listen, my guess is in the Bronx, he's going to do it. Based on that number I love, that's a nice little piece that we'll get out of it. I think tonight, this is the kind of game that he's licking his chops. Showcase, Yankee Stadium. Citi Field's one thing, Yankee Stadium's another. This is the greatest place to perform on earth as a baseball player, if you ask me. I've said this to you before. There's no place like it, whether it's the old one or the new one, whatever you want to call it. Guys want to show up and show off at the Boogie Down. And I think tonight he does it. And here's why. Because the Yankees have lost 15 of 20. They are not hitting. They got lucky they won on Sunday because one guy, Benintendi, had a big game. Nobody else did jack. They have not played well for the last 20 games. It's been a nightmare. The numbers break down even worse. You can cut it to, 9 of 12, 11 of it. It's just endless losing. They haven't been this bad really since the 80s in terms of they've lost 6 straight series. They are not hitting. They are not scoring runs. They are striking. Judge is striking out like every time he comes up to the plate now. So I say yes, over.
I am with you as well. I like the over 7.5 for Scherzer tonight. I think he will have a very strong performance. Let's go to Philadelphia now. Now, Syndergaard, Scotty, as we know, he ducked the Mets this past weekend. Was supposed to start on Sunday for the second time this year. Said he needed an extra day of rest so that he didn't have to face his former team. How's that going to work out from come playoff time? 4.5 for Syndergaard tonight at home against the Reds. Minus 165 to the over, plus 115 to the under. He had 6 last time he started, which was against the Reds last week in Cincinnati, Scotty. That's the only time he's gone over 4.5 since he joined the Phillies. I do like him to get back over it tonight. The Reds suck.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this much. It's not going to go well, like you said, in the playoffs if he sees the Mets. But I think he has to play the Braves, right? Isn't that about right? If they were to start today, I think they would play the Braves. I could be
Cardinals
wrong.
now, yeah. Cardinals now.
Oh, now it's the Cardinals?
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet on them
every day.
against
It's
the
so
Cardinals.
close. Changes every day because it's so tough.
Look, they're not facing the Mets in the playoffs. The Mets at this point would have, and the Dodgers, a bye, and then you're going to have these other series go on. I don't think he's going to see the Mets, so he's obviously a wuss bag when it comes to facing his former team. What a femme that he won't pitch against the Mets. I've never heard of that before in my life. A pitcher that doesn't accept the challenge of taking on his former team and beating them after they got rid of him. Honestly, I think he's a wussy. I really do. I don't even care what he does tonight. I think he'll strike out 4.5 Reds. That's easy. He'll do that in the first batter, not the first inning.
Look,
the first batter will strike out 5 times.
Both times that he was scheduled to face him were the only 2 times this year he suddenly needed an extra day of rest. Like it just doesn't add up. We clearly, that's all you need to know. One time, maybe you could say, whatever. Twice. Sorry, you're scared. That's the way that it goes.
How
let's go
pathetic is that? Honestly, think about that for a second. Like, what a weak-ass, femme, wussy thing to do. He won't pitch against the Mets. He's afraid of them. I've never seen it before in my life.
And how huge were those games this past weekend? Now, look, I get it. They're 10 games back of the Mets for the division. I understand that. But still, it's your big rival in your division, and you're not pitching against them.
You're at home.
And you're at home. It didn't look right to me for Thor this past weekend, ducking him. We will go next, Scotty, up to Minnesota. We've got the Twins tonight taking on the Rangers. Sonny Gray, 5.5's the number. Minus 110 over, minus 125 under. Now, if you remember, Scotty, last week Sonny Gray had 10 strikeouts against the Kansas City Royals, but he was under 5.5 in 10 of 11 starts before that 10 strikeout explosion. I'm going back to the under with Gray tonight.
Yeah, I'll go with you. 10 of 11 fails, and then 110 game. That's an epiphany. I'm going to go under with you.
And finally, for the strikeouts, we will go to the Dodgers and the Brewers tonight out in Los Angeles. Julio Urias is going for the Dodgers. 7.5 is the number for him. Plus 115 over, minus 165 to the under. Faced the Brewers in his last start last week in Milwaukee. He had 6. He's actually under 7.5 in 7 of his last 9 overall, Scotty. A lot of unders for Urias. I'm going to go under again tonight.
Yeah, how can I go over when the guy never does it?
Yep, that's perfectly said. But it is a heavy number tonight. Very strange that they bumped it up to 7.5, but I'm still going to stay under the number. All right, it's Tater time. We're looking to stay strong after 2 of them on Friday night, Scotty. And where am I starting? We've got the gas can on the mound in the Bronx for Domingo Germán, right? So let's get the big, hefty lefty up for the Mets tonight with the short porch out in right field. Vogelback tonight, Scotty, plus 350. Punch one down the right field line. The big fella goes deep.
Yeah, listen, I think he's going to hit one. I'm with you there. It's too easy. And then put me in a piece on the polar bear as well. And, I mean, while I'm at it, why don't I get some more of the Mets in on it? Canna, what about this guy on Sunday? That was crazy.
I'll tell you this, because I always look at guys' career numbers against the starters in the morning for this. Now, I don't know if Canna's playing or not. I don't have a lineup yet because he doesn't play every night.
Nimmo.
But he should be playing, and let me tell you why. His career numbers against Domingo Germán, he's like 8 for 12 with 4 doubles, and like he destroys Germán.
Then why wouldn't he play?
Canna should be in the lineup. I didn't want to put him in there because I don't know if he is, but if Canna's in, I'm willing to go there after the 2 homers yesterday, Scotty, and the great history against him.
If that guy had the game that he had on Sunday in Philly to win that game, and he's not in the lineup, then somebody should take the liquor bottle away from Buck Showalter. You've got to play the guy when he's that hot.
And he destroys the starting pitcher. He should be in the lineup tonight. All right, next, how about another guy, Scotty, that had himself a day on Sunday? Alec Boehm from the Phillies. He had 2 3-run homers against the Mets in that loss. He's heated up. He had a bunch of hits against the Reds when he faced them last week. Just missed a couple of homers. Good price, too, tonight against Cincinnati at home. Plus 425. Let's get Alec to stay hot tonight after 2 yesterday.
Yeah, you know, I got a hard time going against you, the way the guy's hitting. He's just on fire. And I doubt he's going to hit a home run that he can keep it going because, I mean, no one's ever heard of him. But all of a sudden, the guy's tearing it up, so why not?
Next, we will go to the Braves. They are taking on the Pirates the next couple of nights, Scotty. And we've got Acuna Jr. Tonight against Contreras. Now, he's 2 for 3 off him, has a couple of doubles, plus 290 for him. Swanson also has a homer off Contreras in his career, Scotty, at plus 360. But I'm going to stick with Acuna, plus 290 to homer off Contreras tonight against the Buccos.
The whole team's probably going to hit home runs against the Pirates tonight.
I know,
honestly, and it's at PNC. I'll go with you there.
Yes. And finally, Max Muncy. He's raised the batting average, Scotty. Believe it or not. Remember he was at like 125, 130? He's up to 190. He's almost got it to a full 200 here to the Mendoza line. He's got 5 homers in his last 11 games. He hit a homer off a Lauer last week in Milwaukee. Plus 350 for Muncy tonight to keep it going.
Well, if you hit one off of him in Milwaukee, why not in Lipstick City? I got no problem arguing any of these home run calls. I'll go for it with you. We hit it every week. I mean, the lion's share. MGM's going to have to open up an account where we just keep feeding people money with all our home run props we hit. I mean, we got to get Jason Scott to open up just a direct deposit for millions of fans on all of our home run tater calls. I mean, honestly. And get us that billet, too, while you're at it, Scott. I mean, come on, for Christ's sakes.
There you go. Vogelbach, Boehm, Acuna, and Muncy. All right, game props to finish us off, Scotty. Phillies win tonight at home against the Reds and over 8.5 runs scored, plus 155.
Yeah, I don't think the Reds are going to cooperate. I say no.
Okay, I'm going lots of runs tonight in Philadelphia. A's to beat the Marlins at the Ashtray tonight and under 7.5 runs scored. Big ball tonight, plus 280. Let's go.
Yeah, I hope you hit it. I'm on Miami, so I'm not going to go there.
And finally, Dodgers and the Brewers. We said Lauer, we said Urias. Both teams to score 3 or more runs. Plus 135, Dodgers and Brewers tonight.
Yeah, you see that short number? I'm on that. I like that. I think it's going to be a great game like it was in Milwaukee. I'll go with you there.
There you go, the lion's share from BetMGM. Let's cash a lot of tickets tonight, Scotty.
I mean, it's beautiful. And I'm excited about Jason Scott coming up. We'll talk about everything going on in the hizzy out in Vegas. And we're excited about that new multi-year deal with BetMGM that's rolling today all over the press.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM. Ferrall, Coast to Coast.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. $1 billion a year for a $7 billion deal, and we know that UCLA and USC are on board next year, right? This is what it's all about for the Big Ten, cornering the market in terms of the national viewership perspective. Doesn't get better than this. From 2023 and beyond, which team and which conference can capture the biggest market?
The Sports Grid Network. The morning after.
How would you try to fix what is happening with the Yankees currently?
I personally don't think it's time to smash the panic button yet. Something Aaron Judge said the other day, better to go on a run like this now in mid-August when you have a bit of a cushion in the division than when you're right about to go into October or when you are in October. They have the experienced veterans who have been there before. They have the youthful talent, but you got to get hot at the right time. You got to lean on depth in the pitching staff.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
This guy looks just as good as Aaron Jones, and if Green Bay decided to dial it back a little bit on the passing, then A.J. Dillon could certainly be a star running the ball. This is Aaron Rodgers' team still at this point. He decided to come back. Did he decide to come back to hand the ball off, 40 times a game?
I love A.J. Dillon. Like I said, I think this guy on a normal team kills it. Absolutely kills it here. But Dillon's going to have a lot of touchdowns this year. It wouldn't surprise me if he approached double digits.
The Sports Grid Network.
Pro Football Doc has found its new home right here with Sports Injury Central. And with that comes our expansion into other sports. Sports Injury Central will give you nonstop exclusive injury analysis from experienced team doctors from all three major sports. Doctors with resumes that include teams like the Chicago Bulls, the Texas Rangers, and the LA Chargers. So gain a fantasy, DFS, and betting edge right now for free at SICScore.com.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
They play less games.
The early line.
Take a look at the top four seeds here in the Big Ten. They're going to play
Aaron
less.
Rodgers and
The morning
Russell
after.
Wilson. We saw movement in the marketplace like
Fantasy Sports
The Cleveland
Today.
Cavaliers are a little thin as well.
Newswire.
Minus 160 favorite on the money line today for Arizona.
Ferrall, Coast to
BBG,
Coast.
that's where they win cups. They win Stanley Cups over there. Give me the
Game
Penguins.
time
kind
decisions.
of bizarre when you consider everybody is out for the Warriors.
In-game live, all access.
I like Vandy against Bama. I think Vandy can win the game, take it 4.5.
In-game live, prime time. In-game live, overtime.
All done before the final bet.
Get the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid.
Well, listen, I know that most of my audience, like me, cannot read, but I wanted to give you this news today that the BetMGM and Sports Grid, of course, announced an expansion and extension of the partnership under the multi-year agreement. BetMGM's trading team and experts like Jason Scott will provide insight during Ferrall Coast to Coast, Pro Football Today, in-game live. Warren Sharp will do stuff from the MGM National Harbor. I mean, we are just going to town with BetMGM on Coast to Coast and on Sports Grid. We couldn't be more thrilled. What a fantastic bit of news today for us, and I'm very excited about it. And everybody knows how much I love and how highly I think of Jason Scott, the VP of Trading, who's a regular on Coast to Coast every single week. And he just told me that he wants to get up bright and early on Saturdays and talk college football with me. And he said he wants to get up on Sunday with a hangover and a Bloody Mary and talk NFL football with me. As long as BetMGM's got a lot of people lined up at the window, that's all he cares about. He said he won't even eat breakfast, and neither will I. We will not rest until people make a lot of money betting on college and pro football. Jason, good to see you. Thanks to everybody at BetMGM. From the top of my heart, I mean it. Very excited to be continuing in a multi-year deal with you guys. Let's talk about the Astros. They've overtaken the Yankees in the odds for the AL title. Are the bets on those teams starting to even out as the Yankees have lost 15 of 20, or are the people in New York still betting on them left and right even during this skid?
Scotty, just firstly, look, I too am wrapped with this partnership. I think it's a great opportunity for BetMGM to have access to Ferrall coast to coast, so I can't wait. In terms of our bettors, our New York customers are nothing if not loyal. We're still seeing more money came in last week on the Yankees to win the American League than the Astros, which sort of astounds me. I think that's why the price should be higher, but it's basically the liability, the continual rate of money coming in. We don't need to push the Yankees because we're getting plenty out of them where they are. At some stage, it's got to change, but right now, it's very odd.
Do you ever when your guys come out with the lines and make their decisions? Do you ever override them when you think something should be higher?
Very, very rarely, Scotty. What I've learned over doing this for 20 years, the market's usually smarter than me. So I prefer I have my own opinion. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But I'm willing to let the market tell us where it should go. We haven't got any sharp customers betting the Astros right now. So while that doesn't happen, the Yankees will stay where they are.
Has there started to be any action placed on the Rays or Jays to take the AL East as the lead has shrunk down to 7, now back up to 8 after they finally won a game on Sunday because Paul O'Neill was kicking water coolers?
That could be why they won. Look, we've seen a little bit for the Jays. I think they're going to run out of games. Surely the Yankees aren't lose 15 of the next 20. Still got to catch 8. Just a nibble at plus 700, plus 750, plus 800 last week. Nothing too significant. We still need the Yankees to get beaten in the division for BetMGM to make money. Lots of parlays through the Yankees, the chalk parlays.
Have you ever seen them this bad that you can remember losing 15 of 20 games and losing 6 straight series? I got to tell you, when I'm watching the games, there's a lot of cussing going on. And I'm like, literally, I watch pitchers that he sends out there out of the bullpen to throw. And like guys start walking guys and throwing balls. And I'm like screaming, he can't even throw a strike. Get him out. I mean, it's just like, have you ever seen them, in particular, the New York Yankees, struggle this badly unless it was like in the early 80s when they were awful?
It's probably that long. And I'll tell you what else I've never seen. I've never seen a team that got to 69 and 33 and just completely capitulate like this. It's not, Stanton's out, but it's not like they've been decimated by injuries. It's odd.
Crazy. It really is. Let's talk about the Padres for a second. They're still the 4th highest odds in the NL, despite the Tatis Jr. 80-gamer suspension. Are people really still buying them to make the World Series without him? Or do you believe that the fans and the media will blame him if they don't make the playoffs? Meanwhile, he never played the whole season. Are they going to blame him if they choke again like they did last year?
Look, I don't think anyone really, they're plus 1,800 to win the World Series, which still seems light to me, plus 900 to win the National League. The thing is, they're 4th favorite because they're probably entitled to be 4th favorite in front of the Cardinals, Phillies, and Brewers. They're not going to win the World Series. I don't think it's Tatis's fault. He certainly hasn't helped. But even with adding the 2 guys from the Nationals, I don't think they're good enough. So I think to blame him for that would be harsh.
So are people betting on any deeper odd teams like the Cardinals and Phillies?
Seeing a little bit on the Phillies. Again, we've got quite a substantial business in PA, so there will be some homers there betting into that. But look, I suppose if a team's going to win a wild card game or even win the play-in maybe, and then the wild card game, people are trying to find who it might be. Could be the Phillies. The Nets have got their injury problems. Is there a chance that someone on the Nets can someone can get on a run? Maybe it's the Braves, but there's still people speculating and showing, leading with their money that might be the case.
So I just want to tell you one other thing before I forget, because I forget a lot of things every day, as you know. The BetMGM people sent me a bunch of blankets and floor mats for, like the shoes at the door or whatever. How about this? No one would like put those down in their, big palatial and have a BetMGM. I have them all over. I got them in the kitchen door, the back door, the front door. I got the blankets covering my entire family room and living room. I have, my dog is using one of them. I got an MGM all over my house now, everywhere you go. The dog got the Frisbees. I'm out throwing BetMGM Frisbees to the dog. I got the hat. I wore the hat to breakfast the other day. 2 ladies winked at me. All the stuff you guys sent me, it's unbelievable. I can't even tell you. All right, so, and I really like the floor mats. The Ravens.
I'm glad you enjoy them, Scotty.
They're great. All the shirts don't fit, though. I'm a 2XL, Jason. You and I both. I got the 2XL. I'm 6'4", 220. They sent me large. Those are for girls. Tell them I need grown men sizes, 2XL. I'm a grown man over here like you. Ravens continue to dominate the preseason. Are they the most heavily bet team in the preseason?
Yeah, they are, but they were minus 200 yesterday. I mean, they're up to 22 in a row now. I thought their quarterback play was superb yesterday. I think they went 23 for 27. That's one of the few games I watched all of last night. They continue to win the playoff, the preseason games. We continue to lose, but they're at such a price that value is baked in. Look, they don't look like, if you look at the players that are playing, it's not like they're playing their starters for longer than everyone else. They're just up and ready to go. But yeah, they haven't been any good to us in the 2 games they've won this year.
What about the Seattle Seahawks? Have they fallen off the map and no one's betting on them at all because everyone thinks they're going to be awful?
Yeah, well, there's a combination that even when they were good decent for the last 4 or 5 years, they were bad in preseason. It looks like something that Pete Carroll doesn't seem to care of. So we've been killed on the spreads over the last few years. Again, that's baked in now. But again, yes, we're losing on those games as well.
So how about the totals? They came back down to earth this week.
It's really interesting, wasn't it? Because so many of them went over last week. We saw a lot of money this week for the unders. All of the sharps were betting early in the week, taking the 41 down to 38 in a couple of games. This week it's the opposite. I saw we got some really sharp money on the Philadelphia game today at 46.5 to make it go 47.5. So people are expecting the big syndicates are expecting something to happen there.
What about the Browns win total after the Watson went to 11 games? Are people pounding the under?
Yeah, I think what happened was the price moved down at the back of when 6 was announced. I think we pretty quickly understood with the appeal that the NFL weren't happy, and we moved the price back out as though it was 12 games. I think what we have seen is we've seen a little bit of money for teams like Miami that now play the Brown the overs for Miami because they now play the Browns whilst Watson isn't playing. So it's been probably more of that, people trying to find an angle on the other side than pounding the unders for the Browns.
What about the Steelers? I see there's a lot of action on the Steelers because that win total was at 7.5, and they've looked pretty good so far. Are a lot of people betting on them both ways? Over, under? What are they doing? Just a lot of action?
Yeah. I mean, there's two conflicting things with the Steelers. Obviously, one, they're a very popular team. 2, you've got Mike Tomlin's incredible record, but then a lot of people are betting that he'll continue that, and they want to be on the overs. And then the others are looking at Mitch Trubisky and whoever else and saying, well, we want to be on the unders, looking at the team and the list. So we're seeing really good two-way action. I wish we saw that sort of activity on all markets. But yeah, there's certainly a difference of opinions there. You're the Steelers, man. Are you pro or against?
Oh, I think it's over. He always wins. They always win. I think they're loaded at receiver, tight end. I love Harris. I love their defense. I love Trubisky at 27 years old. I think he's got all kinds of game in him. He's very capable. And if not, I'm stoked about Pickens. My buddy calls him PSP, preseason Pickett. He doesn't believe in the quarterback, but he does buy Pickens. You're getting action on him as offensive rookie of the year?
Yeah, we are. And that's kind of not unexpected, I suppose, given the early performances. But yeah, he's certainly been the best backed over the last fortnight.
How about the college football scene now that we've seen the final preseason polls? Is everybody betting on Alabama, or are you getting Ohio State and Georgia money too, or all of them?
Yeah, well, this is going to surprise you a little bit. We see this every year that our biggest liabilities in college football every year are teams at a bigger price. I had a quick look this morning, and A&M are our worst result. USC our second result, second worst on Miami the third. In terms of dollars spent, yeah, Alabama's had the most money on it, followed by Ohio State, but they're both barely losers for us. Texas A&M is going to be ugly, so we see that all the time. Similar in the Heisman. Cade McNamara is our worst result due to some large bets at 200 to 1. Our second worst result there is the Ohio State wide receiver, and I always pronounce his name incorrectly, Smith Jigba. But yeah, we took bets at 50s. He's now into 30s. In terms of dollars there, Stroud has the most dollars on him, but he's still just a winner for us.
So I was on Edwards. I wanted him to beat Usman on Saturday. What did that do to the house?
Yeah, that's the funny thing about MMA. Regardless, we always pre-game we always lay the roughies, the dogs. No matter what price they are, we write a plethora of $20, $50, $100 bets on these guys. And what you think would be a great result of it, like if a football team got beaten at minus 1,000 on a Sunday, well, I'd be doing dances running naked around Vegas. But with the MMA, we always see money on the other sides. It was a winner, but it was a very small winner for us.
Well, there you go. That was a crazy kick to the side of the head. I thought that guy deserved it because he never wears a shirt anywhere. He's always going around naked to everything, showing off his muscles. I don't like guys like that. I'm sick of him. I like guys like you, Jason. Good stuff. I'll see you next week. Thanks again to BetMGM.
If you want to pick like a pro, you need to be in the know. The future of sports gaming is now, and we take you inside the lines, breaking down all the action and what it means for your bet slip. Turn down the game and tune into Sports Grid Radio. Other networks talk sports talk, but we walk the walk, right up to the window. Sports Grid Radio.
Listen free on the Sports Grid Radio app, iHeart or TuneIn, or catch us on SiriusXM Sports Grid Channel 159.
Maurice Allen, 2015-2016 European Long Drive Tour champion, 2017 world number 1. Me personally, I keep my game face on me all the time. Especially coming out of the bunker, leaving the range, or even leaving the course. What's your story?
The early line.
Let me help you, NCAA. We will wipe the bowl season out completely. We will put in a 30-team playoff at a minimum. We will wipe out the cupcake schedules, and everybody will eat at the end of the year. More money in your pockets, college football guys. More fun in my pocket here, and a chance for gambling on my end of it. It's a win-win scenario.
On Sports Grid. The morning after.
I look at Deshaun Watson, now at this point, I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing, how does he come back? How does he look when he gets back on the field? And, especially more than anything, because we've talked about, hypotheticals time and time and time again of what's the suspension going to be? To actually have an answer, it's almost a little bit of a sense of relief, at least when it comes to the Cleveland side of it.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
Chris Olave can give you a lot. Chris Olave is a very polished wide receiver, great route runner, great speed, great hands. He is NFL ready. This guy is just ready, hit the ground running. I think Drake London will go and get a little bit more buzz because of where he was selected. And people say, oh, he's the only guy there. Yeah, he's the only guy there. But it's the island of misfit toys in Atlanta. So you have to understand that. Whereas you have Winston, you have Michael Thomas, you have a more complete offense.
The Sports Grid Network.
Well, Carver High, the Eagles keep rolling along in the preseason and looking sharp.
They certainly do. They beat the Browns 21-20 yesterday. There was plenty of Gardner Minshew in that game for the Eagles, Scotty. Your boy Minshew Mania was getting it going in Philadelphia, so they move on. Saturday night, Titans beat the Bucs 13-3. Brady was back at camp this morning, Scotty, so thank God we could stop listening to the Bucs media ask Todd Bowles questions like this every single day for the last 2 weeks. Like if the guy went to the moon and they didn't think he was coming back. Here we go.
Like I said a week and a half ago, I said he'll be back this week. So, that hasn't changed.
How many times could he say it?
Gotcha. Do you know yet which day it's going to be?
It'll
Which
be this
day?
week early.
What is it?
How painful are these media interview people? I mean, honestly, they send it. It's like they send the dumbest person in to do it.
Like how many times can he say, like, he's coming back. He came back this morning. He was out there practicing, like, every day, just nonstop. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? He'll be there, guys.
It's the
Relax.
worst.
It's okay. All right, so
He
when
doesn't
we
need
come
to be
back,
at training camp. He doesn't need to be there.
He can show up, and I've seen people say this isn't the case. He can show up the week of the first game, and he'll be fine. Okay? In fact, the last thing you want him doing is running around out on a field during training camp. That's what you don't want him doing. He's only got so many snaps left in him all over the place. So when we come back, a wild Tom Brady story that was told by Dana White on Saturday night, Scotty, during the UFC event. I guess the Gronks have some kind of alternate UFC watch party now. And Dana White let everybody know that Tom Brady and Gronk were supposed to be in Vegas a few years ago, Scotty. We'll play that for you when we come back.
That sounds good. Your Bills look good as well. They rolled the Broncos. That was ugly. And Josh Allen looked good. Lions beat the Colts. Chiefs beat Washington. Tons of games this weekend.